Welcome to Halloween time at Geek Talk. Yeah!
Yay!
I'm Frankenstein, and this is your host, Tomato.
Hello! And here we have Purple. Purple Red.
Today we have Purple and Tanzer VR on our Halloween special. They helped decorate this whole studio. What do you guys think? I think it looks awesome.
Take a look at this. It's amazing. Look at the details. Look at this beautiful pumpkin
I know.
Here.
I wish my house looked like this. Really.
Oh yeah.
With the ghost too. That would be really cool if you could just like put that in your real house.
Your wife would probably like that, right?
Yeah.
A ghost in the house.
It's so easy to clean up if the holidays are over. You just delete it all.
Yeah, you just delete it all. Yay! That's the future, right? With augmented reality, you'll just decorate it,
That's right.
You know, like that, and then it's like, oh, sorry, you can't see the decorations if you don't have the glasses.
I wish I could put a respawn script on all my Sims toys. Or not respawn, return script, so just everything goes back to like its own spot when he's done playing with it.
They just
Oh yeah, that would be real magic. Real magic. Oh, I guess that Frankenstein mask had the respawn. See, there you go. Put back in its place. We need that for beer too. This beer kind of just.
Oh my!
You just spilt it everywhere. What the heck?
Don't mind that.
Excuse us while we clean up this mess.
There you go.
Little blood juice. It's all
bloody. So welcome to the shows, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for making these great drinks. These are really awesome. These are from your world, right? The Halloween maze?
Yes, this is Halloween maze. And in that world, there's potions attached to each one. So you can do different things depending on what you drink. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
So what does this one do?
Drunk. They just get you drunk.
Yeah. Does
this one turn you into a vampire?
Yeah, right.
That would have been the cool thing to do. I don't remember. I think that one makes you like run really fast, and it's I guess that makes sense. Vampires can run really fast, right? That's true.
Yeah.
They kind of just
they do.
True story.
True story. Very cool. So, what inspired you guys to do the Halloween maze?
So it was actually my husband's idea. I was trying to figure out what to do next for Halloween. And I was like going through all these ideas. And he's like, why don't you do a corn maze? And of course, with the capacity issue, that would have been like a no-go. So I'm like, next best thing would probably be like, hey. And I'm like, oh, hey, I could like take those hay bales and, you know, stack them up and do a maze pretty easy. And so I actually like did the maze within like 2 hours, like just building it, just the layout of it. And then I was like, you know who the king of Halloween is in Horizon Worlds? My friend, Mr. Tanzer over here. And so I added him. I added him and I was like, just to see what his thoughts were. Unbeknownst to me, he already had a maze from last year in like one of his Halloween worlds. So he was like, hey, why don't you go take a look at that? Hey. And I went and I was like, totally, yes. Hey,
check it out. So was that maze as hard as the new maze? Because I thought the new maze was kind of hard.
This one was awesome. She did such a great job putting it all together and laying it out. Like she did all of that and had a lot. Most of the like maze part was like done and was part of her. I helped with like adding just some touches and elements outside and in the back and things like that, but she did a ton of the work on her own, so she did a great job. The maze that I had made previously was like a small piece of a greater world, so I didn't have like a lot of capacity to really go all out the way Purple put that one together. So I liked working on this one. I was so glad she invited me to join in on it, because I'm like, hey, I didn't have any plans to do a Halloween world this year, and so I'm like, you know what, this is a fun like kind of like little break away from some of the other things I was doing. So it was a lot of fun. We had fun working on it.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. He did a great job on the werewolf up by the moon. I was at work and I came home and there's a werewolf like
Howling
in
at the
front,
moon.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so we
that
just
was
put
scary.
triggers all around for that. And so, yeah. And Tanzer is so, he has so many great ideas. And so one of his ideas was when you die, it like respawns you inside the grave. And so
Oh yeah, that was
when you
fun.
die,
That
you
was really
like
fun.
go inside the ground and there's like claw marks and stuff. And so you literally have to come up out of the casket
Yeah,
to get back out and try the maze again. And so that was just a great idea.
that's
We
really
had
fun.
a
I
lot of
really
fun
enjoyed that
putting
myself.
together.
But maybe after
Yeah.
10 times of me being lost, it got a little, oh, I'm dead again.
I
No.
know.
Yeah. The only
I
problem is that
know.
so many people were dying at the same time, and then you have like 10 people in a casket.
Oh, everybody
all
at the
trying to figure out how to
Everybody's
get out.
piled in on each other.
That's how you can make your
Yeah.
next update. It could be like a tomb underneath, and everybody could just hang out in the tomb.
Yeah.
Oh, that would
Everybody
be
that died.
cool. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, some people, were able to go through the maze relatively easy. We had Solaris in there, and it took her like a half a minute or something. She's like,
Just
and
made
then
all
she
the
was
right
done.
choices.
I was like, it was
I know,
like
you
the
just
first
make the
person
right
to come
choices,
in.
just get lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
she got
like,
lucky.
oh no,
Yeah.
it's going to be so hard. But then there were times I went in there and there were people who were really struggling. And so I'm like, do you want me to show you? I showed so many people how to get through it. And so they were able to get to the end and take photos with the booth that we made, And so
Oh,
it
yeah.
was really a fun world to make. Fun to hang out with Tanzer and do. So yeah, it was just,
100%.
and it turned out so well. And what
Yeah.
was really great was they had released the first set of mesh objects right before it finished, so we were able to implement some of those pieces into it. So like the corn stalks, you can see they've got some of that mesh.
Yeah,
in it.
the trees.
The trees,
Oh, yeah.
The trees
yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
We picked those really cool pine trees, and they're probably the worst mesh in all
my gosh.
meshes. They take
Yes.
up the most capacity, but we loved them so much.
We
We
did.
had to
I like them
delete-
too.
We had to delete a ton of stuff, but we're like, we got to get these to fit in.
It was,
And I kept thinking-
yeah, there was no question about it. Once we laid them in and seen how great they looked,
Yeah.
we had
Yeah,
to,
they look really
so.
great.
I kept
Yeah.
thinking about the Spider-Man movie with Norman Osborn, where he's like, "Do you know how much I've sacrificed?
I know,
You
right?
know?
Nobody knows.
For those trees, for these trees."
I think it's like 12%.
I will never use them again.
capacity. Just
Yeah.
no, probably not. But
I know. I have
cool.
2 in the world I'm making right now, and I'm like, oh, I want to take all the old trees out and turn them in and use this one. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
You got to
Yeah,
minimize your use of those kind of mesh assets when you're building.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will run out of room real
Use it up.
fast.
Yeah.
So
We got
Yeah.
25% object capacity, but 98% geometric
Complexity.
capacity. It's like, yeah. But they sure do look good though, so it makes the world. And I think,
Yeah.
and
Well, maybe the
So-
new headset it'll give us extra capacity to really do cool stuff with
really
meshes.
That would be
Like,
awesome.
what if you could
Yeah.
do edge loops or anything like that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that
But,
it would
yeah.
be,
then they're gonna kill this one probably.
yeah.
And it's Halloween, so that's what they're coming out to do this month on the 11th. Kill it.
Yay.
Are you guys
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing the new headset or what?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I think we all are.
I'm gonna get one.
Curious. Are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
me
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yep.
Gotta get it.
Fancy.
Fancy.
Are you getting a new one?
Oh, maybe. I think so. I don't know. I just bought a new headset maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Oh,
And so, I was using my son's and he was always like, "Mom, let me use it." And so we were kind of like, and I felt bad because it was like his, big gift from Santa. And so I'm like using it all the time. Sorry. Santa wants mommy to use it too, okay? So I bought my own. I was like, I couldn't do anymore, of course. And then I found out like 2 weeks after that they were coming out with a new headset. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can sell it and, use part of that to get a new one.
Yeah, on Amazon,
Eventually.
sometimes they let you sell it
Eventually,
back.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, really? That's
and
good.
yeah.
But I'm not going to do that because I have the one that has the Oculus logo on it. So it's kind of like, you know,
So do
it's
I.
like my vintage one, you know, so I don't want to get rid of it. So now I'm stuck with, I think I have 3 headsets now. Like I have the old Go
On
still,
display.
you know, it's like, here's another brick
Right.
for your door.
In 20 or 30 years, when we have all new types of like VR, these headsets will be like these on the wall here.
Yeah, right.
Old school, you know, all
Yeah.
this old technology, and just think like these headsets are going to be like, really? You guys used to wear toasters on your face? That's insane.
Right.
I know.
Right. When it will just be a contact that you can put in and just walk around all day. And,
wow.
you know, interact with things that'll be there. And
yeah, and that's when you can really decorate in augmented reality your house and be like, "Oh, Christmas is over."
Yep.
What, you have controllers? What are these? What are the controllers for?
Right.
So what's you know, speaking of Halloween, what's one of your favorite Halloween movies? Do you guys like to watch scary movies?
The first one that comes to mind, and I don't know that per se that it's like a Halloween movie, but maybe the scariest movie I remember watching as a kid is The Shining. And so that's like a great one. Jack Nicholson and
one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a
I
classic.
think the older movies are some of the scariest ones, but maybe that's because when we were kids when we watched them, so we were more scared back then.
Right.
But for me it was similar, and I still don't think I've ever finished watching the Hellraiser movie. When I saw Hellraiser as a kid, like I could never finish the movie with people getting filleted.
Yeah, I was I was scared too. That was real scary.
As an adult, you're like, I still
4 of them or something.
Oh gosh. That was so creepy.
I know. I think there's a new one with Pinhead as a woman.
Yes.
That's something like that. So I might dabble into it to see
remastered
if I can survive.
If you can
I think I can handle it now. Before, maybe not so much. Maybe now I might be able to take it on.
Sleeping with the lights on for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But some of the older like comedy Halloween movies were really good too, like Beetlejuice and Addams Family. Some of those are great, you know,
Gremlins.
classic. Yeah. Yes, Gremlins is a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, Ghostbusters.
That's
a classic.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Ghostbusters. What do you want?
Casper too. Like with Christina
Casper,
Ricci. That was a good one.
Now, I really enjoy the stop motion animation movies like Coraline and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
Those are my favorite. I did a whole series of Nightmare Before Christmas Worlds in Horizon.
Yeah, those are some
I have Halloween Town and then Christmas, the Christmas Town, and then I wanted to figure out what would it look like if Jack went through some of those other doors that were in that like magical forest.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
it's
a really
like,
good idea.
Here's my interpretation of Valentine's World and Thanksgiving World and Easter and all that kind of stuff.
Realize so that's why
I didn't know you had Valentine's World.
Yeah,
I have all the doors. It's like a hub. So when you spawn in, like all the doors are there, and then there's a door next to each one. So you can just keep going back to the center and try another world, and go back to the center and try another. So that's what I did last year for around Halloween Town. I worked on all the holidays, and I'm like, yay! I don't have to do anything at Valentine's Day. I don't have to do anything at Easter. I don't have to do anything at Thanksgiving.
All the holidays are done.
They're done.
So did you publish them all at once, or
I did. I let them all out. I did them all out at for Halloween. They were all done at Halloween.
Wow.
So I worked really hard that month. Well, probably for about 2 months leading up to Halloween.
Say a month.
To get those
So I just published 6 worlds.
Oh, just it just took me 7 days. It's like,
well, I had help. I had some help. I didn't do it all myself. No, I love collaborating, and just like when we were working on the maze and everything like that, you come out with some really cool stuff. Everybody adds a little touch to something that makes it even better, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
bouncing ideas off each other and what looks better. And sometimes it's hard to see right away when you're building, like, oh, if I just nudge this over a little and then put this here, that would look way better. But when someone's standing back and watching, like-minded people who know where you're going with that, they can look at that and say, okay, why don't you, maybe move this over a little? And then your mind can sometimes be like, oh, okay. And, things like that just make it so much better just to collaborate with, people. And It's
Right?
fun.
And if you don't like it when they leave, then just delete it.
Yeah. Oh, I changed it.
Yeah.
This was
I don't know what
when I
happened.
came back in.
Horizon. It was a bug.
I know.
I don't know.
That was a bug.
Always
So how do you deal with that? I noticed I've been collaborating
So
recently
that's what
too.
happened that one time.
What?
Well, I've been collaborating, and then I come in and I was making this intricate bass-like thing, and all the steps were the right size. And then I come in the next day, and somebody moved the whole ground down, and then they moved it back up. So do you just go in there and lock everything down and be like, it's a lockdown?
Big.
I forget
text
to lock a
block.
lot.
Don't touch this.
I usually do forget to lock, and then yes, it can be a pain in the butt if somebody
Yeah.
grabs something, doesn't realize they grabbed it, and then they did a whole bunch of other things.
Things,
and
yeah.
Both,
Yeah.
and then you both don't know
Yeah.
who messed up
Right.
the ground. So then you
I
both
was gonna
say
undo
the
everything.
floor. That's
figure
what-
out
the
who
floor.
broke it, and then
Those
all right,
things can
I
be
could go.
fixed. The floors.
Yeah,
The
Be
floor gets a
hard.
little tricky sometimes. Yeah. It's amazing how everything's just built off of this floor, and then when it gets tweaked, you're like, the whole map is wrong, and you're like, oh
Everything.
no,
Nothing lays out
my
right.
gosh.
And then you think
That-
you have everything, and someone comes in and they're like, "You're missing a tree branch." You're like,
yeah.
"The whole
Huh?
stump is gone." It's just
Where'd
very-
it go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Guys,
so
if
what about you
Halloween
guys?
was a
What are your
food?
fa-
Oh, sorry. I was going to move to another question.
Oh, I was
Sure.
wondering about your
Yeah.
guys' Halloween stuff, but that's okay.
All
yeah.
time, well, Halloween food. Halloween
No,
food.
I was going to ask, like, if Halloween was a food, what would it be?
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie?
I love pumpkin
My
pie.
favorite
Yeah.
Halloween food.
If Halloween was a food, what it
If
would
Yeah,
Halloween
when you think-
was a food.
Candy
Mhm.
corn.
Mm,
Oh, candy corn.
I
That's a
don't like
good one.
Candy corn.
yeah.
I know it's like one of those candies that's like,
It's
is
pretty
it
to
really
look
a
at,
candy
but it's wax.
or is it a decoration?
I don't know. I don't
know?
really like it too much. My son loves
yeah,
it.
no, yeah.
He'll eat the whole bowl of it,
Yeah.
like before I even realize it was even.
I
on
eat
the
it too.
table.
It's almost just like one of those things where you just want to see if you can eat it all.
Yeah.
Don't like
I
it.
guess I love
Still eat
pumpkin
it.
seeds. Pumpkin seeds are one of my favorite,
Oh
like
yeah,
Halloween
roasted
type
pumpkin
foods.
seeds, yummy.
Roasted pumpkin seeds, the
Mm.
saltiness. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about the king, I think, of Halloween candy? Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah, they're my favorite.
Right? Oh man, those are so good. And I remember just trying to get all I could when I was a kid, just going around, just grabbing all the loot, kind of like what you do in
Like-
Pop One.
Yeah, but you said peanuts?
Huh?
You said peanuts?
Yeah, Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh, peanuts.
like-
Peanuts.
Yeah, I don't like peanuts.
Oh, you don't?
Don't
I
like
didn't know
Reese's
that.
Peanut butter cups.
Did they do something mean to you?
Yes! Let's not talk about it. Next question!
Next question.
Name 3 of your favorite worlds in Horizon. Don't need to be yours, but what's the first
Ooh.
3 words that pops in your head when you think about
Halloween worlds or
in general? Could be.
world in general?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. There's so many good worlds, and I've been here for a minute, so there's been so many worlds that have happened
So
over the
hard.
couple years.
That's why it needs to come
don't
as
even know.
spontaneous.
I think the first world that gave me like a real immersive like feeling would be John McClay's Train Destiny. It is one of the older worlds in Horizon, but it gave me my first like sense of realism. So he's got the train that you're on, but it feels like you're moving because the environment's constantly, passing you by and then
Moving,
restarting and passing you by. And he did a real great job with the sound on it, so that when you're like between cars or you're like outside on the back of the train, like it feels like it's vibrating. It feels like you went from outside to inside. It's just, all of those things
All
coming
the
together
details.
really
Yep.
like
Yeah.
it sells that feeling. And I think when you're able to capture something like that, it like sticks with people and it makes people like, want to experience that or bring people back. It's like, oh my God, you got to check this out. This is too cool.
Yeah, and he's
So that was probably
constantly
like
updating
first.
it too, so he stays
Oh,
with
yeah.
it, so it never just
Yeah.
quite stays the way it was.
Yeah, he
and so
decorates it for
it's
Christmas.
fun to go in and
yeah.
see.
What about for
What
Halloween? Does he
how he's
decorate it for
updated it.
Halloween?
I
don't know.
don't
I
know.
don't
if
know.
he
I wasn't
did.
here last Halloween. I didn't join until January, so
Yeah.
Tanzer.
I've been in here for
We'll have to wait
a
and
little
see.
over a year and a half. So, but yeah, I don't remember. Last Halloween was a lot of fun. I'm excited to see a lot of the worlds coming out this year because we have a lot more things going on with the mesh shapes and now we have the
Yeah.
spawning. A world that I really enjoyed working on with Homed last year was kind of like how we worked on a project this year. Last year, I worked with Homed on the Haunting of Eleanor. And that was a
That's
really
Oh.
fun
one of
haunted
my
house
favorite
experience.
worlds. I
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds
world.
cool.
But
I
like
don't think I've
it would
seen
have
that
been
one.
it would have been really cool, and it's something we kind of talked about once we had the spawning option, would be to like as you left the first, because it was like an experience where you had to go through it, right? Is to like leave the first world, the first room, and then when you're in the 2nd
Mhm.
room, delete the first room behind you and then add a room to the end of the experience,
Yeah.
so we could made it a
So just
lot
Oh.
longer.
infinite. Yeah.
Yeah. I think once spawning becomes a
Interesting.
little bit easier to do, it would be, that'd be something I would probably
Yeah.
maybe tackle
Revisit,
doing
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, and extending either that experience or doing a whole new one.
I
That
love haunted
world was-
mansions,
yeah.
haunted houses and stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah. That haunting of Eleanor was one of the, it was like within like the first month or so I visited that world, and that world really, talk about worlds that really, impact you and change you. That one did for me because I'm like, you can literally create an experience in here. It doesn't have to be just a hangout world or, a place where you go and you stand around and talk. This world interacts with you, and it, it really pulls like emotions from you. That first time I seen her head spin around and she's like, ah, like that, I was like, nope. I wanted to turn around and go back, but the faces were coming out of the walls and they were like, go back. And I'm like, oh God, I guess I have to just keep going. So, yeah. So if anybody, hasn't seen that world, they definitely need to check it out. It's
I'm
for
going to
sure
go
a
check
great
it out.
one.
I haven't seen it myself,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Great one. So.
Yeah. Paulie, he's come up with some cool Halloween themed worlds lately. He had that the hallway that was pretty creepy, and then a new one with that like Johnny puppet, I think. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh yeah, and he did like an Adams Family one too. Did you guys see that? It's like the
That
whole
was really
Adams
good,
Family
yeah.
like sitting around the
Dinner,
table.
Thanksgiving
And
dinner or something like
it's
that.
great. And they're all having these little conversations with each other, and it's animated, and like you can jump onto the table and you can stand next to everyone and take selfies with them. It's really great.
Yeah.
He's,
That's
nice. Fantastic with figures and stuff. And so, plus
Cool.
he's, has all the voices. So he just like went for it, and it was really great. You know who else
That sounds
is
like a great
good
one.
upcoming like creator for Halloween is that Drop Shoot. Have you seen him? He does all these like he did one that was Pennywise. And you get in and it's similar to the Killer Clown world that you made, but like it's just Pennywise, and so he's got all these worlds where you have to like you're sitting in something or it's guided through, kind of like a haunting of Eleanor, and he's does all of these great scripting with it, and his worlds are really, top notch too. They're like everything is like created really well and scripted really well, very clean, very scary. So those are some fun worlds
Oh,
to
that
check
sounds
out
fun.
too. So yeah, he's got several of them now, like 5 or 6. So
Well, we'll take this. We'll make a list and we'll post it on HCTV, right? And so everybody can go and check out these
absolutely.
great Halloween worlds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would
There's
be
a few
nice.
Halloween hubs that are
Yeah.
out that have a lot
There
of doors
are.
to all these different
Yeah.
Halloween things. I think we put quite a bit at the end of the maze
We did.
for people to go
Yeah.
check out. And yeah, there's a lot of like cool, just specific Halloween hubs that are out there. I know Juliet has one. I know Wilkes. He has a really cool one that has a lot of scary type worlds associated. Some horror hub. Can't remember what it's called, Haunted Horror Hub or something like that. But yeah, let's definitely look for them.
What's that one called? Freak Show, I think is what it is.
Ooh, Freak Show.
Isn't it? Do you know what
I'm
one
not
I'm
sure.
talking about? Yeah. It's like you go in and it's like
It's like
all the,
American
like,
Horror
the-
Story or something.
Yeah, similar. It's like they're all like in this building and they're like behind cages and stuff. And so, and then there's, that's a hub too as well. So, but it's fun to check out. So I could be wrong with the name, so we'll
Interesting.
post it afterwards.
Yeah, we'll post it. We'll look it up and let everybody know what it is.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do around Halloween is the costume parties. Like the worlds that are set up for like costume parties.
Oh yeah. Is there any good costume parties this year?
Oh well, we should have one in your world. That would be amazing.
Yeah, we should. I love that costume
party,
world you made. Yeah.
Yeah, costume with the B.
Costume.
Yeah.
Party. Costume.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Had no idea it was even there. Tancer's like, go check that world out. So I went in there and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many costumes to choose from, and then there's 2 worlds. So I mean, really, the sky is the limit. And you can mix and match, wear different clown stuff, and it's so fun.
Oh, clowns
Some are very scary.
Yeah.
After I did the first one, I didn't want to stop. I ran out of capacity, and I'm like, I got to keep going.
Sure.
So then I went into the second world, and there really wasn't much in there. And so then as I was working on other worlds over the course of the year, I had different characters and different wearables, and I kept like moving those things into the costume shop. And I said, when I fill this costume shop up, I'll publish this one, and then we'll work on the next one.
That's
and
amazing.
That's I love wearables. Awesome. They're a lot of fun. Once I learned how to anchor, that was like a game changer.
Did you do all the anchoring of them yourself, or did you have help someone come in and anchor?
When
them?
I did the first costume party,
it takes a long time to do just one.
Yeah, when I had the first costume party, I didn't know how to anchor. I made all these costumes and I had them all kind of like lined up and waiting for someone to like come help me. I'm like, just waiting for someone to come help me anchor. I'm like, I'll wear it if you'll help me anchor. And then I think Oculos came in and helped. Buffy Buffers came in and helped. And then when I was working on my Easter world for the Nightmare Before Christmas worlds, the Easter version, then Up Too Late came in and she kind of showed me how to anchor the like bunny costume that I had. That's when I learned how to anchor. And then I'm like, oh, you're not going to stop me now. Now that I know how to do it myself, I can just knock these out and just keep going, right?
Everything's
going to have wearable.
Yeah.
He just gave me his tool that I can use. I'm going to run with it.
What's your favorite costume that you've ever made?
Oh God, I don't know. That's like, I don't know. One that I don't know. I had a lot of fun with the inflatable tube man. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that one's fun.
So I made it in 2 pieces. So I made a head part and then I made the body part, but then all you had to do is like wiggle your head around and then the whole top would just start, making it look like the inflatable guy. So you just have to wiggle your head around a lot and it like gave you all the movement you needed. And so I think that's the first time I made something. I'm like, this is super fun. So I'm like, there's no stopping what you can do in here. Like whatever you can think of is amazing.
The sky is the limit. Absolutely.
You know, I was amazed when we were there.
Invisible, that would be better.
Yeah, that would
I was amazed when we were in the costume shop and you were the guy, but then you got on the spider. And so now they're like 2 costumes in one. I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
The inflatable guy.
So when people post pictures to the world page all the time, and I get to see all these mashups that people come up with where they're mixing Thor with like the Cheshire Cat, and then they have Thor's hammer, and then they're inside the spider, and then they're flying around with the legs all stretched up with the spider. It's like super cool to see like the creativity of what people come up with.
That's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I get that sometimes in some of my worlds too. It's so like stuff you would never even
share
think
those
of
pictures from the world
together.
page.
Yeah. I know, huh? That'd be handy, huh?
And talk about this experience that some worlds brings to you. How was your guys' first experience in the VR? Like, what did you visit? What did you see? Like, how did you feel like when you were here for the first time?
Yeah.
In Horizon or in VR?
Let's say more like in Horizon.
Okay.
So
Like,
for me, it was the soapstone. I visited the soapstone and I was like, wow, this is really awesome that you can go in here and there's comedians and this and that. And then I had one evening where I met some people and they took me around and showed me how to use this, the settings and everything. And Metanuma, I went into his first world, which was like this waterfall that you like jump down into this open pool, and then like he has this hidden cave back there, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Really, you could build whatever you wanted, and to see that was just amazing. And then also, I think that night I went on John McClay's train, and then also Solaris's Galaxy train, and just flying through outer space in a train. Locomotive.
Yeah, that's really cool.
When I seen that, I was like, this is amazing. You can do whatever you want. I sat there for 2 hours with a stranger living in Florida, having a conversation about our lives, and it was just, the most amazing experience for me, and it just blew my mind, and I was hooked from then on. So,
yeah.
What about you, Tanzer?
Well, I came on an early beta, so it was a whole different Horizon back then.
Yeah, was it
our
empty?
avatars were way different.
Yeah.
I think John McClay and I looked like twins. Like people had a hard time telling us apart because there wasn't a whole lot of, difference in like your faces. There was no beards back then either. So it was very interesting. But I was never really a social person. Like I know you guys like to do like the online gaming and then you're like interacting with a lot of people. Whenever I was playing games and gaming, it was always first person like mode. It was always like, the
like
Arkham
a solo,
games,
like
or
a
the
campaign
Tomb Raider games, campaign games. That's
Mario.
all I'd like to play. And I like to solve
Yeah.
puzzles and do stuff like that. But it was like on my own mission. And so coming into VR was like so different for me. And then I'm like, oh, this is like a social thing. Like I'm going to interact with people. I'm like, this is going to be so bad. Like they're going to be like on here all the time. They're going to know how to play the games. I never like playing those online games because I'm like, as soon as I die and I get respawned, I usually get like headshot, like killed over and over again before I even like get out of the like spawn point.
Yeah.
I'm like, forget these games.
Man,
I'm not playing these games.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
But this community was so awesome, and the people in the early beta were like trying to create something in like a community of like just respect and helping each other, and that's really what we try to do. So the people that I met when I was making my first world are still like really great friends of mine now. And I feel like when you're collaborating and stuff like that, you're forming bonds together because you're talking while you're building, and you really like develop these friendships while you're doing something that you enjoy and creating things. So it was really fun. And the first worlds that I went to like kind of set the stage for me wanting to get involved, and that was Action Island that Sandwich made. Zap Laser Tag by
Zap. Yeah, I love that.
And Merc Mountain by Jordan Mercott. And like as soon as I did that, I was like, okay, I want to make one of these worlds. Like I went to those 3 worlds on like my first night, and then the next day I was already starting to build. And I haven't stopped.
That's crazy. You just jumped right in. So did you struggle with learning how to work? Yeah, so did I. I think once
I didn't have anybody to teach me really. Like at first I didn't know what I was doing. It's funny because after I finished my first world, that's when I started to actually like learn what I was doing. I know
that's yes.
I'm like, oh, there's a snap so I can make everything level.
Exactly.
I'm like, how did you? I was doing that.
I was like 3 or 4 worlds in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a game changer.
Gosh.
Like
that was a game
do
changer.
Anything now.
I'm like, I could, and then the array tool.
And then
I'm like,
learning
oh my
how
gosh.
to like line everything up, where you can like pull the green line and line it up with something over here. That 100%. Was totally yes.
Yeah, it's like, and I feel like some people come in Horizon and they start playing with the tools and they kind of get frustrated for that first experience and they stop doing it. But if you keep going and you keep trying and you like collaborate and people teach you these little tricks, as soon as you gain an extra skill,
know.
You
Yeah,
get
it
one more
feels good,
skill,
yeah.
and then like you just pop
It
up.
can
You
open up
advance,
everything.
and these,
Yep.
oh my gosh! And then you start building faster and faster and cleaner and all
Yep.
of that.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So
That was
So
a whole
what's your
process
best
for me
work
too.
until now? What do you consider like your
Oh,
best?
that's a hard question for
It
any
is
artist,
hard.
I think.
I
I would have
know.
to ask
I'm
you guys
like,
that. I have no clue.
No, we want to know your.
I think a
yours.
piece of of part of us is in every world, so it's really hard to
Yeah.
like sit there and look
Choose
and
your favorite
say
child.
like, yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah,
you're creating
pick it.
something,
Kind of
right?
like
And you're
where
making
you,
Yeah,
something
like
come
you
to
love
life.
this world for this reason, but then you really love this world for this reason, and
Yeah.
you know, and
I
then you
think right now my
remember
favorite.
what you were going through in your life while you were building that, and you know, and it's kind of
Exactly.
like this
It
whole,
affects
like,
your building.
everything. Yeah.
I think my
So,
But
Plaza
what's-
Apocalypse was probably my favorite right now, but it's also one of my most
Okay.
recent that I did
Yeah.
for just myself, not like as a
Okay.
Yeah.
contract or anything like that. But I think it's because of the experience people have with the plaza as it exists, right?
Yes.
So then to give them a new experience that reminds them of the something that they've seen like so many times, but to see it in a whole new way and then have like
Yeah.
fun elements that it's like, oh, I wish I could do this in the other plaza. Like this is so cool. That was a lot of fun
Absolutely.
for me. So
That
and I
world
hope
is a
people
great
enjoy that
world
one.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah, I love
so
that
fun
one.
Can you
to be
pick one
sucked up
purple?
into the vortex.
Yeah.
You know, I have so many, but I think maybe Man of Moon Mountain was my favorite, the Bigfoot world. You can
Oh,
go
yeah,
into
the
the
Bigfoot,
cave and explore, and then you may or may not find Bigfoot, and you know, he can chase you and get you. And so that was a world that I had when I first started building, I really wanted to do, but I had no idea how I was going to do that.
Uh-huh.
And I had to get to a point in my skill level that I felt comfortable, you know, doing justice for something like that. And so, and that world also opened for me like a whole new, like, oh, you can do this. There's so many other things you can do besides, you know, having a drink where you drink it and food that you eat. And there's,
Yeah.
you know, scripting, you can do anything. And so,
Yeah, you could make it more like a
that was
game or
fun.
more
Yeah.
I think the storytelling part of it. That's what I
Yeah.
like about that
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. And you know
Uh-huh.
what's really funny about that is I was in the plaza one evening right before I started this. I was trying to figure out what I was going to build. And there was a community guide in there, and she was telling a whole group of people about the importance of doing storytelling while you're building a world. And she was giving out some names of some worlds that I can't even think of off the top of my head, where they literally teach you storytelling. You go into the world, and it's like a world that's like a house with an old woman and her husband, and there's like personal touches through the whole world, and there's like text boxes that show you visually, like, okay, you know, if you have maybe a cup of coffee with like, you know, an open book and the glasses are on the book, you know, like somebody was sitting there reading and they had their glasses on and got up. There's, you know, half done dishes
yeah.
in the kitchen and stuff. And so
Uh-huh.
all these little things that you see in the world
Mhm.
tell the story. And so that's
I
kind of
think
what I
Don
was trying to
Carson maybe
implement.
did that.
Yeah.
Was it by Don
Yeah,
Carson?
maybe. I don't remember
Yeah,
what the world
but it kind of
name was
shows you.
called,
It
but
shows you like a table with chairs all pushed in and lined up evenly,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it shows you another table next to it where the chairs are kind of askew and like
Uh-huh.
things are just a
Yeah.
little disorganized, and it just
Yeah.
makes you feel
It's
like it's
lived
more
in, yeah.
alive. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
it just
Yes.
gives you that immersive touch, right?
Yeah, and absolutely. And so I really tried to apply that to that world. And so I think it was really effective. And that was the first world that I had done that with. And so it was really, you know, one of my more popular worlds. And so I think it was successful and
Yeah.
fun.
It's
And yeah,
inspiring work for sure.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great. How do you guys see the future of Horizon?
Oh, gosh. I think it's just going to keep getting better and better. I really do. And I hope. I mean, there's so
Mhm.
much we can do now. And you know, if they take the time like they plan on doing and step back and fix some of these little things, you know, that we have going on, issues, bugs here and there, they can start focusing more on what they're going to be bringing in. And I think it's going to be great. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I think, as far as it's like the 90s were for the internet. So just
Yeah.
give it time and
Yeah, we're
be
living back
patient
in the
with it. And
90s.
I know.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so, I mean, just
Yeah,
look at
now
the
that we have
growth
mesh
from the
shapes,
last,
I
yeah, look at the growth in the last 9 months
with
or
the
10 months or so.
Yeah.
yeah, with these mesh shapes and stuff like that, I can see us having a lot more, interesting looking worlds because you can bring, these really cool designed elements into things. But capacity obviously is that issue. So I'm hoping,
Yeah.
like you said,
Yeah.
with the new headsets, they're planning
That's
on.
gonna
That's why
help
they're bringing
solve
it in,
that.
because they're
Yeah.
planning on expanding everything, and we can bring in a
Yeah.
lot more to really fill up these worlds.
Absolutely.
The only problem I see with that is,
True.
do I want to spend my time making multiple worlds like I've been, or do I have like this unlimited capacity with like this cloud-based system that they're talking
That would be
about, where I
really
just want to make
cool.
one
That would be,
world
yeah.
that's
So
like
awesome.
To rule them
insane,
all.
One huge
Yeah.
world.
right? That would be
That's
cool,
that's
but
the
like,
metaverse, though. The
Yeah,
metaverse
right?
is like,
absolutely.
everybody's
Mhm.
world's becoming one big world, and you can just
Yeah,
go, like, you can take the hat to this world with you, right? I think we were talking about
right.
that last week,
Yeah, if we
Yeah.
have
where
an unlimited
Oh, that would
capacity,
be
should
so
Yeah.
fit, right?
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, it should fit, and then you
Oh,
you
I'd
have
love
this whole
that.
new opening up of commerce, right? Because now you can actually really use those items in a way that you couldn't before. Like
Yeah.
it's the real world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And how will you guys see yourselves in this future in Horizon?
Oh, I hope maybe to be working full time, in Horizon. Right now I work almost full time with a day job as a graphic designer. And then on the weekends, it's all about Horizon, of course, and trying to juggle that with being a mom and,
Yeah.
having a family. So it's
Mhm.
kind of a balancing act trying to get it. But I think that, yeah, for sure, hopefully one day soon, being able to do this full time would be amazing. Dream come true. Tanzer's living the dream over here. So
Yeah. Well, hopefully Meta will
I
help everybody and all creators in
yeah.
the future, right? So
Yeah.
that we can all
Yeah.
Yeah.
monetize and live off of our work. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my. So, do
Well,
you have
thanks
other
for
questions?
coming on today. This is a great episode, and I love Halloween. And thanks again for everything that you guys did as far as decorating. These are some of the
No
awesomest
problem.
decorations. I mean, it really feels festive in here. I can't wait to
Thanks.
see
We
what we come
enjoyed.
up with for
That's
Christmas.
fun.
What you guys are
Yeah, for
doing.
sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. This has been a lot
Yeah,
of
we
fun.
really appreciate it. It has been fun.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Do you guys
being
want
able
to leave
talk
your
about-
social medias where
Yeah,
we
anything
can
you wanna
follow
talk
you?
about?
Oh yeah. So I don't really have a Facebook fan page, but you guys can find me on Instagram at purpleren00 and follow me
Mhm.
there. I post a lot there. I also post on Facebook. I
Mhm.
just have a Meta account on there under Elaine West, and so you guys can follow me on there if you want. And so yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cool. I am.
I have a business page called Tanzer Virtual Rendering. So Tanzer VR, Tanzer Virtual Rendering. And I just post a lot of stuff that I've worked on, and contracts and things that I'm doing. I've been out of the business world and into the metaverse, and working full time right now in the metaverse. So I am living that dream, right, of doing something that you enjoy, and
Absolutely. It's
I'm
amazing.
kind of glad that it's gotten
Cheers
to
for
that point.
Tanzer. It's so
Yeah,
wonderful.
that's awesome.
It's
That
kinda
gives us
great to
all
be-
hope. It
Yeah,
gives
Yeah.
us all hope to
great.
get there one day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Do you
I'm
have
doing
any tips for people that are new, that are coming to Horizon and they want to work in here?
keep doing what you're doing. I see so much talent in here. So it's hard. When we opened up from the beta, and it flooded in with so many amazing
Yeah.
artists,
Mhm.
it changed, and there's in a good way. There's so many
Yeah.
people out there that I don't even know all of the people that I've
Yeah,
enjoyed their
right.
work. I'm how do I meet these people? Because I am a fan of their work. And I think that some of them are less known because they weren't around as long, but their stuff is starting to get noticed. And just keep doing what you're doing, because it's going to happen the same way as as it happened for me, and eventually you're going to start, getting pulled by different people. I've been contracting and been lucky enough to be doing that. I should be actually starting a full-time job, salary position in the metaverse, working for a metaverse company. So I'm going to be announcing that soon. Just got some stuff to do with that, but that's going to be great. And I think as the metaverse starts like becoming more popular, like in the real world, it's still like so new. Get into it now.
Yeah.
Keep building your skill set. And then when it does become popular, you already have experience in here.
You're there.
And you're going to have a better chance at getting those types of jobs because you have some kind of experience doing it. So just keep doing what you're doing, develop your skill set, and it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sure.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Keep swimming.
Well, thanks again for everybody showing up.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Guests on Geek Talk.
Thank
Thank you for having us.
And thank you to our lovely host, Fran Tomato.
Oh, thank you.
And the amazing Nick. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for these great drinks.
Oh my
Hey.
Cheers.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of Geek Talk.
Bye.